when we first started coming here, he asked why we were staying the night. That was the first night we stayed. And he says, "Mummy, why are you staying the night? Why are we staying here?" And so I had to figure out a way to explain why we're staying in this strange place that he has no idea about. So I told him, okay, well, the name of this place is Marukaikuru. So he knows this place is Marukaikuru, not Shelly Bay. So I thought that was important to instill in him. And I says, we're here to protect the land. And he says, why do we have to protect it? And I don't know, explaining that to a 5-year-old is like, how do you explain that to a 5-year-old, eh? So I says, well, we're protecting it so we don't lose it, so we can take care of it. Yeah. So that's how I explained it to him. That's pretty much the only question he had, is why are we here? Which I think is a big question for a 5-year-old. But, yeah.
The backdrop of this issue, why there's an occupation here at the moment, is 170 plus years in the making. It's not just something that's happened yesterday. It's something that has been happening for over a century and a half. And at the crux of the issue is that this land here, after being stolen in the first place, the iwi was then forced to purchase it back 170 years later. After they got it back, that land had to be looked after by an entity that was set up by the Crown, the government, and the government set all the criteria for how that entity had to operate and had to, in order to look after whatever assets it was charged with looking after. And that entity has gotten into bed with some unscrupulous characters. They've been focused, the media has always come down to a point of law. So, the place to test that is in the courtroom. When we get into that process, and we've been down that pathway, in fact, this movement has spent $3.5 million to date on legal costs. Before, haven't even gotten into a courtroom. New Zealand at large have been the recipients of free handouts via land alienation, via land theft. That analogy about, I steal your car, you know it was me, you get the police in, you take me to court, the court says, yes, we agree with you, Wayne did steal your car, now you have to buy your car back off of Wayne. And not the whole car. You can pay the price for the car, but you can only have back one tyre. That's your 2%.
The movement itself is getting a lot of traction via social media, which is good. We're also connecting up with all the other occupations around New Zealand at the moment. Hence the word movement. It's going to be a nationwide movement. It's nothing new. It's been done before. But so we're here to reignite the movement because it's happening, or it's not just happening here. There's several other occupations happening right now. We're just lucky enough to be where we are, right down the road from the beehive. So also it's the last undeveloped bit in the harbour, bit of land, so it's prime land. But yeah, social media has been it's major key.
Hope is one thing I would describe Māori to be, given everything that our people have been through, just the generations of trauma. We remain hopeful that we can live together, not above the other. That is never a thought in Te Ao Māori, and I think that's often like a perceived idea of us, that if we ever do get in power, we're going to do to them what they did to us. But I don't think I would never do that as a Māori, and every other Māori I don't think would do that. It's just not in us. And if it was in us, we wouldn't have allowed, the endeavour on our shores in the first place, But we as a people, we like to live in harmony. We were raised on maraes, papakainga, all of that kind of stuff. And that's just, you know, intergenerational living. That's how we operate. Yeah, so hope is a big thing. It resonates a lot with me, my kids, my ancestors, my nan. Yeah.